Welcome to your weekly reminder that only dead fish go with the flow. So if it is tough out there, at least you're not a dead fish or a turd going with the flow. And hopefully it will all be worth it in the end. This week we have a special guest, again, always a special guest, a very good friend of mine who I went to uni with, Alex Wenyon. She is on the podcast. I didn't have much choice to have her on the podcast because she was absolutely, she had her stats, she was ready to go. She's got some amazing information for you. But Alex, welcome, or Wen, as I call you, welcome onto the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, even though you didn't have a choice. I literally texted you like, "Can I come on?"
Pick me!
Pick me, pick me.
I didn't have a choice, but I'd always have you on anyway.
Just want to share some learnings, help
I-
someone somewhere.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about you and your sport.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you just mentioned, we met at university. I was a cox, so I spent most of my life sitting in a boat shouting at people.
Just because you're slightly vertically challenged.
Just slightly, yeah. I'm 5'3", even though my friends might argue I'm 5'2", but yeah, that's by the by. Um, and yeah, so we met at university, and I prior to uni I did a lot of dancing, and then took up coxing at school, and then came to Brooks. I kind of transitioned out of rowing and focused more on running. And I must add that I am no professional runner. I'm not pulling out these incredible times and everything like that. But I've just doing running for me because I enjoy it. It helps me kind of de-stress and unwind a bit. And yeah, I've just loved pushing my body to new limits. Whereas when I was coxing, you're kind of just sat steering and being that onboard coach. So it's nice to actually physically challenge myself and find my limits as such.
So you are part of the running boom.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You
One of
are
those.
you're my new favorite running influencer.
Oh, I would not go that far at all.
What sort of events are you doing at the moment?
Um, Actually, I'm not signed up to anything at the moment.
Ooh, suggestions welcome.
Yeah, all suggestions welcome because of the whole running boom. There's no bloody entries left in anything nowadays, so it's really hard to get a spot at a running race. I came back from Oz in April, and I thought, oh, I'll do the big half in London, or I'll do the Oxford half, but no, everything is just completely signed up. So, which is great, and it's great that people are getting out there, they're getting out onto the roads, but it's annoying that you can't get a spot in any races.
Yeah,
So
I was looking at this because we wanted to talk about running, and there's sort of been three great running booms. The
yeah.
first one was 1970s, 1980s.
Mhm.
The second one, when Paula Radcliffe broke the world record for
Oh
the
yeah.
marathon in 2003, there was a big uptake.
Yeah.
And then we're currently now in the third big running boom.
Yeah.
And the sort of thinking behind it is it's fashionable.
Yeah. Yeah.
To go running, it's accessible.
Mhm.
Gen Z are very sociable.
Yeah.
We're both on the cusp of Gen Z,
Yeah.
darling. They're very sociable, and like articles are suggesting that they drink less, so it
Yeah.
is more of
Absolutely.
a let's go join a run club and then get a coffee or go for brunch afterwards sort of
Yeah.
situation. And there are these huge running communities. So in 2024,
Mhm.
there were 349,000 people take up running,
Oh my
and
gosh.
almost all of them were women. So
Really?
it's a massive push
Wow.
from women at the moment in running.
That's
So that's why you
amazing.
can't get entry anywhere.
Damn it. Damn it.
So yeah, so that's like thought that was so interesting because
Yeah,
I
that's
am not a
huge.
runner, and you will never catch me going further than maybe 10K.
I think that second boom that you touched on in the
Paula Radcliffe.
oh no, sorry, the first boom in
Yeah.
the 80s. I mean, the London Marathon, the first edition of the event was, in my notes I've got, is 1981, where there were 6,255 finishers. And of that, only 300, so about 4% of those were women.
Oh
So,
wow.
and then in 2025, 49% of the applicants in the ballot were females. So,
Yeah.
like you say, it's awesome that we're starting to see gender parity in these events. And I also was reading up on there's a there's that iconic image of Catherine Switzer who was being wrestled off the course at the
Boston.
Boston Marathon,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
by the race director. And she entered the event and she actually just put Kay Switzer. So it didn't reveal that Catherine was her first name. So she thought, oh, I've got away with this. And she gets onto the course, she starts running, and she said the reception from all of the other runners around her was, oh, that's awesome. Like, it's great to see a female on the course and getting stuck in and taking part. And then there was a press van that went past with
Mm.
all of the press taking photos. But on the top of that van was the race director who locked eyes with her, hopped off the van, and then that's where you get the famous image of her being wrestled off the
Oh
course. So
wow.
he really put his foot in it in terms of his PR there, where he was actually, wrestling a woman off the course in front of all of the national press. So, you
That's
know,
so cool. I didn't realize that that was like the story, that actually
yeah,
there was loads of positive feedback during the
yes,
race. It was
yeah,
just the race marshal that was like,
that one guy.
that one guy.
But luckily, her boyfriend was a American footballer, and I think he was quite, big and
Oh, fucking hell.
shouldery. So he just like booted him off the course, and then that was that. And she got to finish the race, which was awesome. And then
Oh,
5 years later, in 1972, women were finally allowed to compete. So yeah,
that's mad.
but she also did a lot of campaigning for women to be included in the marathon distance at the Olympics. So in 1984, that was the first time women were able to compete in the marathon distance, which again, it's just nuts. Like, that's the 80s. It's like, why is it
Yeah.
taken that long for it to all happen?
Yeah, it's crazy. But I mean, now you can't
Now
get
we
in your
can't get your
entry in.
entry in. So yeah, no, well done. I'm sat here moaning, but actually, we're trying to advocate for this.
Was
So
it Strava kudos?
yeah, basically. It's all about that, isn't it?
It's very, running is very accessible and very, I think it's quite nice that you can transition out of, you were like part of a high performance
Yeah,
team, a high performance sport, like you've got all of your own coxing and rowing credentials, and now this new challenge is sort of supporting that like transition. Like a lot of
yeah,
people when they leave high performance sport, it's a bit like, oh, what now?
yeah, absolutely.
And absolutely, this is now sort of filling that gap for you, which I
Yeah,
think is really lovely. And also, it's giving you an opportunity to, as you said, be your own onboard coach and like
yeah.
push your own limits and sort of practice what you've been preaching for the last, God, maybe 10 years?
I think
Longer?
so I started in 2009. Yeah. So, oh my gosh, 16 years
16 years.
within the sport in some capacity.
Yeah,
If I've not been coxing, I've been coaching.
yeah.
And yeah, that's wild. That makes me feel really old.
But it's nice though, because after leaving a sport, for being in it for about 16 years, there is going to be that hole. And like,
100%.
how are you filling it by getting involved with like run clubs and stuff? And I've
Yeah.
actually seen online there's been some ex-footballers who've
Mm,
set up their own run club to
yeah.
like help
Wow.
people feel more comfortable from transitioning from high performance sport
Yeah.
to like everyday life. Because like training part of a team every day,
Mm.
like it's just so easy that you get used to it,
Oh,
and like
100%
you
year
get to spend all
round.
that social time all
Yeah.
together, and then like not being part of a high performance team anymore, or not being
Mm.
part of a club anymore for whatever reason, you're then sort of left in the lurch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I just thought it was really lovely that these footballers had sort of taken it into their own hands. I think it was a run club for everybody,
Mm.
but I think specifically for like men who have left the sport and they
Yeah.
don't really know what to do with themselves,
Yeah.
or maybe don't really know what to do with these feelings
Mm.
of, oh my God, there's a big hole in my life
What
now.
am I
I
gonna
just,
do?
yeah, what am I going to do? Like, it's
Yeah.
not unique to women,
No. No.
but I thought that
That's
was really
awesome.
lovely that running's being used for that as
Yeah.
well. So you're doing a lot of running at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're sporting ick.
Oh,
Is it related to running or is it something different? Tell me about it.
so I suppose it is related to running. I don't know why, but it just, when you have an instant, like when you see something like that, oh, basically ankle socks, but not
Ooh,
like the high ankle socks like I'm wearing today. The lower ankle socks, which are supposed to be the invisible ankle socks in
invisible
inverted
ankle socks.
commas. When they lose their elasticity, if I may have worn a pair of these in the past,
You wouldn't
which
catch me now.
you would not catch me now, but when they lose their elasticity, you're walking along or running along and they just slide down your heel and you get the worst blisters ever known to man. Like, honestly, they are horrendous.
So
And
it's not an aesthetic thing that
it
is
is
an
an
ick.
aesthetic thing as
Oh,
well.
okay,
I
it
was
is.
trying to justify my ick by saying, well, what actually is it about it that I don't like? And I couldn't justify it. That was the only justification that I could find. Just aesthetically, I just don't like the look of it.
Oh my
A
gosh,
nice
yeah.
long sock. Yeah, to my boyfriend if he's listening, that's what I'd like for Christmas, some nice long socks.
Do you like the really high vis long socks?
The high vis long
Like the
socks.
bright green or the bright pink or or does it need to be a crisp, tall white
It's
sock?
got to be a crisp, tall white sock. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
you do get a lot of the running clubs. One
they have their own,
in
don't they?
particular, they had their own, and they were like, "These are scientifically proven to make you run faster." I was like, "Well, they're not really, because they're all one size, and they bunch up and give you the worst blisters as well." So no, they just kind of make you look like you're part of the club, don't they? So, but yeah, I love a nice, crisp, clean white sock. But no ankle socks, no
That is
invisible
that
ones.
is niche, but I do understand
Do you
it.
get what I'm coming? I
Yeah,
can't put my finger on why I don't like the look of it, but
but also like, on race day you want to look, look good, feel good, run
yeah,
good, or
exactly.
race good, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Make sure your socks are clean and
yeah,
tall.
and tall.
So, what are we what are we dying on a hill about this week?
Oh, my main grumble is that there are never enough toilets at running events.
That is a good one.
Oh gosh, you turn up, you're all excited to race, you've got a bit of a nervous belly, and you drop your bag off and you get your race bib and you're queuing up, you pop to the loo, and whatever which order you do it in, whether you drop your bags off first or after, when you have your loo stops, you always start that first kilometre of a race just absolutely bursting for the loo. And it's quite a funny story. I signed up to the Sydney Marathon and completed that last September, um, which I was really, really proud to do. But there, I joined a running club called Unofficial Run Club in Sydney and met some fantastic friends who I absolutely loved to bits, and they really kept my Sydney experience on a high. One of my friends, I actually texted her before. I was like, "Can I include your story in this podcast?" And she was like, "Oh my gosh, absolutely!" But she was starting the race, and again, she was like bursting for the toilet, and she noticed that all of the men were just running to the side of the road and just dropping trow
Having
and
a quick
having
piss.
a quick wee. And she was like, "Well, you know what? Sod it. If they can do it, why can't I?" So she kind of like looks around and finds a a bush, and you don't want to be jumping in the bush in Australia because you really don't know what could be in there.
Could
But
be anything.
there could be anything. But she just thought, sod it. So she dropped trout and she relieved herself and then kind of hopped back onto the road and got a few judgmental looks from some men. And it's like, well, why is it okay for them to do it, but not her?
Yeah. We don't condone public urination, but
Oh, no, we don't.
in this instance,
In this scenario, when the roads are shut for the race and the race providers haven't got enough toilets in town, yeah,
there are never enough toilets.
no,
It doesn't matter what sport you're going to.
no,
There are never enough toilets
hmm
prior to like competing. Like
no,
I remember I used to do a schedule before
yeah,
whatever competition I was doing, and there would be timings for
yeah,
loo breaks
yeah,
or
absolutely,
timings for when I needed to do my last toilets, and
yeah,
you have to like allow time for the time you'll be queuing, the
yeah,
time you might be on the loo for, and then the
yeah,
time it might take you
to get back,
to get back because
yeah,
the toilets aren't always like in a good place for it
no,
either.
yeah. So read a book called Invisible Woman,
Oh yeah.
and she details an example where in the Barbican in London, they were at a show and it got to the interval, and both the men and women went to the toilets, but they had made the toilets gender neutral,
Mm.
which is great. However, all of the men just started using the what were previously the women's bathrooms, and it takes a woman on average about 2.3 times longer than a man to go to the toilet. There could be 20 to 25% of women of childbearing age that might need to go and change a sanitary towel, or they might be menstruating. So all of these men were then using the female bathrooms, which we all expect there to be a queue at the female toilets anyway.
There's always a queue.
There's
You
always a
always go with a
queue.
mate. You
Yeah,
never go
exactly.
alone.
You always grab your mate and go. Whereas if you look at urinals, they can fit in so many more men than a one cubicle. If you look at the square footage of floor space that a urinal takes up versus a cubicle, it's way more efficient for a man to be able to just go to the loo. So, yeah, why we're not putting more female bathrooms or more cubicles into event spaces, I don't know.
What are they? Portaloos.
Portaloos, yeah. When I was coxing, you do your sheet of timings, and I'd always, when I was coxing men, I'd allow less time for the loo break than for the women, because if I was coxing women, because you know that there's going to be more of a queue at the
That's
women's
so
loos.
interesting.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know that. I didn't know you used to do that.
Yeah, I like you, I'd do my list and I'd
Yeah.
send it on the group and say, okay, here's my guideline of timings of kind of where I think you're going to be at what time. If we could all
Mm.
stick to that, that would be great. But like you say, yeah, you've got to adjust it slightly for women because we take longer to go to the toilet. So yeah,
It is what it
it is
is.
what it is.
But it's, it is obviously prevalent in running.
Yeah,
It's also prevalent in rowing, the sport that
yeah,
we used to do.
yeah,
Whereas the size of the changing rooms,
yeah,
like because it was a men's event for so long,
yeah,
and then they've added in the women's events later on. One of the things that I have really noticed now that we're allowed to actually compete in that event
yeah,
is the size of the changing rooms.
yeah.
And I only know this because I maybe went on an adventure one evening and managed to find myself.
We'd lost your bag,
We'd
hadn't
lost
we?
something important.
Yeah,
That's right. We'd lost something
yeah.
very important. And
So we tried to retrieve it
for
at the bag
retrieving
drop.
this, yeah, retrieving this item, we went on an adventure and actually got to experience firsthand, with both the changing rooms empty, the like the difference in
Yeah,
size in the men's changing rooms and the women's
substantial.
changing rooms. It was like 3 times bigger.
Yeah, yeah,
It was insane.
yeah,
And then we found my bag and we went back out
yeah,
onto the road or wherever we were, and we then thought, oh my god, I can't believe this. The difference in the size of changing rooms was
it
ridiculous.
was mental,
It was
absolutely mental.
absolutely mental, and hopefully people are going to start working that out.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to very, very quickly touch on,
Hmm.
still rowing related, is the toilet sort of facilities that are available at some women's only events.
Yeah,
And I think because the women's only events are still in their early
yeah,
journey,
yeah.
is there's toilets available and it's all women's events, so
Hmm.
most of the toilets are women's, but the facilities that are available, so like showers,
Yeah.
stuff like that, I'm thinking of one event
Mm.
specifically, and it's equivalent. There are showers in cubicles. The washing facilities at this specific event is a tap in a field, and you get your t-shirt, you you wash it under the tap in the field,
That's your shower for the
and that's your
day. You're
shower.
done.
You've got you've got 2 or 3 races to do in a day.
Yeah,
A heat, a semi, and a final,
yeah,
and then you got to put your dress on for your prize giving at the
yeah.
end. And all you have to prepare for that is
Gosh.
a tap in a field
Oh
and
my
a
God.
t-shirt that you've maybe already worn twice.
Oh no. Oh, that's just awful.
I just think for the general public, it would be
Yeah.
safer. I'd be less of like a biohazard individual.
Biohazard. I just imagine you being like luminescent green after racing.
I would be less of a biohazard if there
Yeah.
were better facilities available, and I think people can resonate with that.
Yeah. Let's just make more toilets. That's what I'm dying on the hill about.
It is a good, it is a really good dying on the hill, and like sports people in general, but specifically sports women, I'm sure will be like, yeah, fucking hell, I need more.
Yeah.
We need more loose.
Please, to any event organisers, just any portaloos you need, up it by 30%, if that, as your minimum. Please.
Oh. So, could you tell me about your favourite sporting moment so far?
Favourite sporting moment so far, especially in the sport of running, was completing the Oxford Half after having my feet operated on 5 months prior. During lockdown, I just got loved running, got obsessed with running, and my feet just turned around one day and said no.
Mm.
And I started to get a lot of pain, especially around my little toes. And I noticed that my little toes were kind of curling under, and I'd got what's called as Taylor's bunion.
Oh,
So I
so
had,
sexy.
I know, but yeah, and it got to a point where I couldn't even walk down the road to get a bottle of milk, and I thought, oh, I need to actually get this sorted out. So I had my little toes broken, realigned, and I've now got wires in them. And I went through the airport security the other day, and I texted him. I was like, I think I've actually just set the airport security off from my feet because the woman kept scanning around, and they just kept going off whenever she passed my feet with the scanner. Coming back into running after that operation, and finishing the Oxford Half was a really proud moment because at one point I was like, am I going to be able to run again? And what's the recovery process going to look like? And they said, oh, do you want to do one foot at a time, or do you want to just get both done at the same time with the operation? I said, oh, I'll just get it done at the same time. So I was kind of hobbling around for a while with the
Mm.
bandaged feet, which is like,
It's like with piercings, you've got to get them both. You've got to get
yeah,
everything done at the same time because then
yeah.
you don't know how bad it's going to be and you won't put it off for the
Yeah,
next one.
exactly. Yeah, I did the Oxford Half Marathon. It's a fairly flat course. It was a pretty hot day as well, and big shout out to my friend who paced me around the course, and that last again, 4K. I was like, I can't do it, and he was like, you can.
Oh.
So yeah, finishing that race was a really proud moment. And then finishing the Sydney Mara was again just a really, really proud moment. And I kind of burst into tears as I finished that last bit of the course, the last 100 meters. So yeah, I think it just proved to myself that you can do it, and you just gotta believe in yourself and have that confidence.
Yeah. And with the Sydney stuff,
Yeah,
because you went and did, I'm not going to call it a gap year because you came back so many times in between, but you went to do like a gap year,
yeah, late 20s gap.
a loose phrase. You went to do a gap year. You went out there and you did know a few
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
but one of the first things I know you did was join a run club.
yeah, yeah,
I think that's such a good thing about sport
yeah,
is that you can go to a different country and then you can join another club that does your sport and you
yeah,
can instantly have a community. I think that's so special,
yeah, yeah,
especially with running where it's so accessible.
absolutely.
Just grab your trainers and come
Lace up
along.
and go.
Do
Yeah.
you like I think I know the answer to this, but did you find that really helped?
Oh, 100%. And I'd got friends from rowing that had moved over to there and done kind of a similar thing. But I wanted to push myself. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have exactly the same life that I was living in London, over in Sydney. So I didn't want to just stay in that comfort zone. So I joined an unofficial run club, which runs, it's about 6K-ish, over the Harbour Bridge, around the Opera House, and then back over to Milson's Point, and then you have a coffee and a croissant afterwards. And
That's
it
so
just
nice.
starts your day right. But I remember turning up by myself, not knowing anyone. And it was actually the Valentine's Day run was the first one. So they were like, wear something pink. So I'd got my pink run club socks on, and I stood on the train platform, and I turned to my left, and this beautiful girl stood there, and she was just literally all in pink, pink sports bra, pink top, pink shorts. Um, and I was like, oh, not going to the Valentine's Day run, are we? She's like, yeah, 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 I am. And I was like, oh, okay, can I be your friend?
Oh,
And she was like, yeah, yeah, of course you can. So I met her, and then she introduced me to her group of like 6 friends, and then eventually that group just grew, and there were about 40 of us, I'd say, that were kind of like that little subgroup.
mm,
There were quite a few Brits in that group as well, but mainly Aussies. And so I'm really glad that I pushed myself out my comfort zone and went for it.
yeah.
And
And also, like I was thinking about this, it's such a great way to see a new city.
yeah, yeah,
Like
absolutely.
running around it
Yeah,
with people that are like I would never encourage people to go for a run on their own in a city
no,
they've never been to
no,
before
no.
because there's so much local knowledge
Mhm.
that it's really important to be
Yeah,
aware of. But to be able to join a group and they're going to basically be your tour and offer a little bit of protection,
yeah, yeah.
basically, I just think that's such a cool way to go and see somewhere new.
Yeah, and like we would do a longer run on a Saturday or a Sunday, so we'd all pick a new part of the city every other week and meet there and then do a 20K or something like that. So it was
I
really
mean,
good way.
you had me at 6K. As soon as you said 20K, I zoned out.
And we try and pick a new part of the city to go to, which was again, like you say, it was a great way to discover the city that you're in. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
but I mean, you touched on it there with safety,
mm,
and certainly I felt a lot safer when I was in Sydney. My mileage would drop off in the winter when I was living in London because I didn't feel safe running in the dark, and I'd go with my housemate. He would come along with me. But I mean, recently there's been a report that came out by the Metro that was saying 10% of women have been spat on whilst they've been on a run.
that's so
And
grim.
I mean, you get catcalled when you go on a run. I get catcalled, but to be spat on, I think is just, ugh, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so disgusting, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's disgusting. It's degrading.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think there's Yorkshire Police are running a campaign against it, but
Okay.
how how do you tell people don't spit on women whilst they're going for a run? Like,
Ugh.
why can't all of us just exercise in peace and get on with our day? Like, why do we have to bring other people down like that?
That is the big wide world, exactly. But also, that's another thing, like another bonus for these run clubs.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not on your own. There is that element of safety.
Yeah.
There's a designated time, there's a
Yeah.
designated route. If people are worried about you, they can check on you or they
Yeah.
can check on the status of the group
Yeah.
on this
Exactly.
loop. It sounds very appealing.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah.
runner, but it sounds appealing. On the
No,
topic of spit
yeah.
and a bit of a downer,
Mm.
lightening the mood with a best fuck up.
Oh gosh, where to start? How long have you got?
I've got 2 hours. You've got 2 hours to fill.
Nobody's perfect. Um, I think one big fuck up was not lubing up enough.
Hang on, I'm gonna stop you there. It's not that kind of podcast.
Oh, is it not? Okay, I might see myself out then.
Let yourself out.
I'll let myself out. No, for the Sydney Marathon, I thought I'd put sufficient amount of body glide on to stop chafing.
Oh, okay.
So I think I sent you some photos of how chafed I was post Mara,
I
which
did.
might be included in the post. So you can get a bit of visual context there. But yeah, it got to, I don't know, 17K round. And I was just like, I am chafing so much.
I
And
am raw.
I am red raw. And
Oh,
there are these people there from this company who are obviously selling kind of chafing balm, and they'd
baby
got it,
oil.
and baby oil. Yeah, they'd essentially got baby oil in these spray bottles, and as you ran past they would like spray you. So I remember locking eyes with the guy and I was like, me, like sticking my hand at like, please just spray me down. So that was a really really funny moment. And yeah, I was red raw after the Mara, so I think that was quite a big fuck up. And I actually had like 3 months after, I still had like scars almost from.
Or under boob scars
Yeah,
or
I'd got some on my under boobs. I got some from where my running vest was rubbing against me because it was a bit hotter than I thought it was going to be. So like I
in
kind of,
Australia?
yeah,
Yeah.
in September, which it's still winter there. It's autumn. But yeah, I kind of took my t-shirt off and I'd got a running vest on, so it was obviously running vest going raw against my skin, which is not the
Oh.
best mix.
Everyone keep your tops
Keep
on
your top
or
on.
lube up.
It's not a tops off sesh.
Everything's better with a bit of lube.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
That is
yeah.
so
And
funny.
if you don't have any, because I use Body Glide, shout out, but if you don't have any of that, I really recommend the Dove Roll On deodorant, but it's the one that's kind of in a bar, like
Okay.
almost like a soap bar deodorant, if that makes
And
sense.
that helps with, is it
Yeah,
anti-chafe?
yeah, definitely. And it's a bit cheaper than the Body Glide as
I
well.
just have like visions of you because you didn't meet your lovely boyfriend until I think you said the week after this race.
Yeah, a week
So
or two
you were
weeks
still
after.
sort of maybe in the depths of the run club dating
Oh,
scene
God.
and just a vision of you like chafed up, sort of like body glide,
Oh
crossing the marathon, just like
no. Really looking my best.
because that's one of the other things that like run club is like booming
Yeah,
for or run clubs are booming for is
yeah,
the dating side of
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah.
And I was reading up on some articles, and
Mm.
Vogue has actually done
Oh,
an
really?
article. Yeah, and they've titled it "On Your Marks, Get Set, Get Off."
Oh my God, that's brilliant. That's fantastic.
So I
I
don't.
know some friends of mine have kind of been chatting to a few people on Hinge, and then they'd be like, "Oh wait, you go to this run club?" And my friends be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then there'll be this awkward kind of like meet where they finally come face to face with this person, and it's either like a yes or a no very quickly. And if it's a no, they're like, "Can we just run a bit faster, please?" They won't keep up.
There's
And we're
like
like, "Oh, really?"
a really quick, like a really extreme version of speed dating.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. The
That
speed is how fast away you can,
because
how fast you can run away from them.
like so much so that Tinder have has started doing like
Have
running
they?
events,
Yeah. Oh,
so
actually, I've
that
seen a few of
yeah,
those. Yeah. That's really. I mean, look, you see everyone at their worst if they've just done a big run.
that's true.
So you do get the raw person.
If you can run like 10K with someone you've just met, then you
Yeah,
might be on for a winner
you
without
might
having a
be.
fight.
Rem and I went for a run once, and he had got his big headphones on, and he was running like just fast enough so that I couldn't be in his slipstream, and I was blowing. I was so tired, and I was just like, Remy, please just stop, just slow down. But of course he couldn't hear me. So he's like having a really lovely time.
He's like left you for
He's
dead.
left me for dead. Usually it's the other way around. Usually I'm a few paces in front of him, but no, this day he'd got it in him, and I was not amused at the end of that. So I think he soon realised we went round the opera house, and I kind of was like, "Will you just take a minute?" So no,
There's nothing
bless
like
him.
exercising with your partner to test a
Oh,
relationship. The other thing I was going to ask you is, could you tell me about what you're doing on your days off?
oh. So if I'm having a real bit of a quiet rest day.
Describe your perfect Sunday.
Or I mean, if my perfect Sunday would be sitting in a festival space with a pint in the sun, listening to Olivia Dean or something lovely like that.
Ooh.
That would be my perfect Sunday, I think. Sun shining.
Because you are a bit of a party festival girl. You love a last minute concert.
Oh, you can't go wrong with a last minute concert. I
And
just love live music. Like,
mm,
I absolutely love that feeling of, and the sound kind of vibrates through you, and you're like, oh, it's just, yeah, I love being in the moment, something like that, and letting your hair down a bit. That's always good fun. Responsibly. Always
responsibly.
let your hair down responsibly.
I remember we would go out and sometimes you would take a caffeine gel, like
Yeah,
a performance caffeine gel instead of alcohol.
Depends what you got on the next day, you know?
Yeah,
We're
so you
primed and
would,
ready to go.
everyone else would be like, I want a vodka lime and soda, and you'd be like, hang on, I've got a caffeine gel.
I do remember doing that
No
in the
beers
dressing
for
room.
me. I want a I've got my caffeine gel and
Yeah.
I've got some juice.
Yeah, we're good to go. My friend actually in Sydney, she wouldn't go on a night out if she didn't have her electrolyte fizzy tablets. And if you really, everyone's a bit like, oh, you on a bit of a budget at the moment. She's like, no, no, like it's time ready to go for the next day.
So
Bless
she wouldn't
her.
get such a bad
Yeah,
hangover.
exactly.
That
So
is not a tried and tested method, just for
she
anyone
was a
wondering.
doctor. I don't know how much of her medical knowledge was going into informing that decision. Or if I'm having a real rest Sunday, I'll always make myself pancakes, have a bit of a lazy morning, pancakes, and then yeah, just have a bit of a chilled day, ready for
Yeah,
the
you're
week.
saying you can be a little bit OCD, so you like to plan your week.
Yeah,
So it's either pancakes and planning or it's
yeah,
a festival and a
real
beer.
opposite end of the spectrum there. Yeah,
Just really
it
depends.
just really depends. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a piece of advice that changed the game for you? Like something somebody said or something you've learned from another female athlete?
Mhm. Um, my like mantra is I always like to say control the controllables.
Yep.
And in that, one thing you can control is monitoring your periods. So looking at, how long does your period last? How do you react in the different phases of that period as well? Like there may be some phases where you sleep more, there may be some where you sleep less. So you might have to factor in I need some more naps in the time where I sleep less at night, looking at when you eat more, when you eat less, and monitoring all of the factors around that can be so beneficial in eking out the tiny little percents.
Yeah, because there's stuff out there, like I say stuff, there's research out
Yeah,
there that shows how to train with your period.
yeah,
And I think in like a big team context, it's
mm,
very difficult to train around your period unless you're doing an individual
yeah,
sport.
yeah,
If you're sort of controlling your own running
yeah,
program, for example,
hmm
it'd be quite easy to train around your period.
absolutely.
If you're in a big team sport, I remember, being in rowing, being in a team sport,
Mm,
finding out that there was actually quite a big impact in training around your
hmm
menstrual cycle and
Yeah,
being like, well, that's great, but I can't do that because we've got
yeah,
set training every day.
yeah,
What I found was really good in terms of controlling the controllables is I would track my period,
yeah,
one, and then I would try and specifically in weight sessions, I would try and peak
hmm
in my lifts and stuff
yeah,
at the right point in my cycle.
yeah, yeah,
And then the rest of my cycle, unless there was like a test or something going
hmm
on, I would not coast, but I'd lift less.
yeah,
And that worked really well for me,
yeah,
sort of like
that's awesome.
having an idea, or it's just like having the information
Yeah,
of how you might be feeling
hmm
makes so much more of a difference than just being like rocking up to an event or rocking up to training and being like, oh shit, I need a tampon.
No, absolutely. It's that knowledge and knowing, well, if I've if I packed a tampon, if I've packed more food because I know that I'm a bit more hungry around this time of my menstrual cycle, you've got it there
Yeah.
just in case, so that you're not left in the lurch, so that you haven't controlled the controllables, if that makes sense. It's better to have those things than not, because you don't want to be on the back foot. So
No, and I actually thinking about it now, a really good example of this, and actually something that coaches need to
yeah.
consider. We were at an event racing, and the coach had failed to mention that after the racing, we would be doing a training session
Oh, what?
in
Oh my
preparation
gosh.
for some testing the following day.
Oh no.
And the theory behind it was wanted you to stay focused on the racing.
Yeah.
The reality of it was, three of the eight women that were competing for our club
Yeah.
were on our period, and none of us had packed additional kit for that third element of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's really important as a coach that you don't withhold information like
No,
that
no.
or suggest that they pack something additional because,
Yeah, yeah,
if it was, you're training a team of men, there's less of an issue
yeah,
in terms of absolutely you can rework it.
yeah.
I remember, the coach turning around being like, right, you've got another session to do after the racing was finished. Looking down at my all-in-one, thank God it was maroon, and being like, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Out to coaches,
yeah,
you need to think about it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's just being as transparent as you can be to those athletes. But also, I think it's opening a space where you can have a conversation with those athletes about periods. And, I'm not medically trained. I've not done any medical school or anything like that in terms of research. So I've just kind of learned from what works for me. And we've had some talks in the past from medical professionals about how you can track your periods and do all of that good stuff. But I think from a coaching perspective, it's just being really open with your athletes and allowing them the space to come to you so that they
Mm.
feel open enough to say, look, I'm on my period. This is what I need from you. Or I might need this bit more support. And
So it's also the athletes, like, you need to take control
mhm,
of the situation a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
so that you can go and have those conversations. So
yeah,
it's a two-way street.
absolutely. And I think some coaches are really great at, but others just think of it about how
Yeah,
can you create that space.
it's a difficult one because there aren't that many answers out there.
No, no,
So even when, you've started the conversation, you're having the
yeah,
conversation, there aren't that many answers out there
no,
for the coach to give
yeah,
or for you to give to the coach to make it
exactly.
better. Because
Yeah,
I've also been to like quite a few of these sorts of
yeah,
talks,
yeah.
and I'm sat there with my notepad and pen, and I'm like, so what's the answer?
What's the solution
What
here?
what's the solution? What's the answer? Like,
Yeah,
tell me. Like, I want to know what the answer is.
yeah,
And ultimately, there aren't that many answers out there
no,
in order to make it better.
yeah,
I mean, exercise does help with cramps.
yeah,
Getting yourself to a point where you can exercise to then
yeah,
relieve your cramps
yeah.
is difficult.
Another story.
Another story sometimes. And also, competing on your period, massive one in terms of preparation, like is another factor. You can still PB. It feels a lot harder.
Yeah,
You
you can
can
still
do
perform.
it.
You can do
You
it.
can do it.
Trust yourself, you can do it.
I used to find that I would be more likely to be sick.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I'd be more likely to vomit if I
Yeah.
was competing on my period.
For me, it was the cramps and the migraines. All I needed to do is just, well, pop a few ibuprofen and just crack on, basically. Um, I had one instance where I was getting really, really like sharp pains in my tummy, and this went on and off for about 18 months. And eventually I was like, right, I need to go and talk to someone about this because I don't think this is normal.
Mm.
And I went to the doctor, they did all the blood tests, and nothing was abnormal. And I just put my foot down. I was like, I know that there's something that isn't quite right, um, for me to be in this much pain. And I eventually managed to get an ultrasound at the hospital, and it revealed that there was a 4.5 centimeter ovarian cyst. I was like, okay, so what's the solution? Like, do I need to get it removed, or what's the next steps? And she just kind of turned and went, no, it'll go away.
Oh my God, I've had that.
Yeah, yeah. And they're like, and you're like, right, what do you mean it'll go away? Because I've had 18 months of pain. And she just said, no, if you're in a lot of pain, you'll know. And I went, will I know? Like, how do you know?
Yeah.
Like, what type of pain is it? And that was all she would say and could tell me. And there's such a huge data gap on women's health and studies being equal between female and male participants to get
Mm.
a real clear, broader picture of as to what's going on.
That was actually the other thing. We're talking about the research that has been done on women's sport,
Mm.
and I found the stat,
Oh,
and it's 3% of research done on how to basically further high performance sport
Yeah.
or how to further high performance training is done on women.
3%.
3%.
What?
So like even though we're all talking about, oh yeah, women's sport is such a cool time to be involved in women's
Yeah.
sport, still only
Reality.
3% of research gone into like furthering high performance sport for women is being done
On. Oh my God.
on women. It's
The data gap is just, it
vast.
is vast. And the only way that that's going to change is by conducting more female studies, or gender balanced studies, and just making sure
Mm,
that you have an equal pool of men and women taking
yeah,
part in whatever study you're doing. But that 3% is just wild.
there is, especially with like all the pushing
Hmm.
that is going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everyone's like, oh, it's a great time to be involved in women's sport.
Mm.
And it is. I mean, it's a great time. Like any time would be a good time to be involved
Yeah,
in women's sport.
yeah.
But like 3%.
That's really disappointing.
Sorry, I've ruined your day now.
Yeah, you have.
We were on a bit of a high, and now you're on a bit of a Debbie
Now
Downer.
we're on a tyrant tirade.
And it's because your body fluctuates over that 28-day
Yeah,
sort of period,
period.
and therefore our bodies can throw out anomaly results.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas men are on a 24-hour cycle. I think it's 24 or 12.
Mm.
So they wake up every morning feeling exactly the
Oh my
same.
gosh, how lucky is that? Can you imagine that?
Well, I mean,
Not lucky.
within
Yeah.
like I've never been a man. I can't
No.
say what it feels like for them
No.
to wake up in the mornings, but their hormones are the same every
Yeah.
morning.
Wow.
Whereas for us, we could like go to bed and be like, "I love you," and then wake up in the morning and like, "I want to burn the world."
Oh my gosh.
Or like go to bed one night and you're like, I can't wait to have my coffee in the morning," and then you get
Yeah.
up and you're like, "I'm fucking not having that
I don't
today.
want anything.
I don't want anything. Nobody talk to me. I'm going to lie on my heated blanket all day."
Yeah. I think I had this like two mornings ago. I like went to bed in such a good mood, and you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, just no one, no, don't even look at me.
Yeah, don't even look at me. Or I'm gonna like one morning you get up and I'm gonna run 10K or whatever it
Mm,
is. You do your run, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna do that for the rest of the week. And then the next morning you wake up and that,
no,
nah.
no, I'm
Who
not
who
leaving the
was
house
that?
today.
Who was that person yesterday?
Who is she?
Who is that delusional woman? So the final part of my notes or my research for this episode is about Uda Pippig, German marathon runner. She did the Boston Marathon in 1994, 1995, and 1996 and won it
Whoa,
3 years in a row.
so cool.
What I find really interesting about this is the year of 1996, she won the Boston Marathon,
Yeah.
her third time. Her period started
Mhm.
on the way round
Mm.
and not unique, but the photos of her winning it, she has, it down her leg,
Yeah.
which is, that's unfortunate, but it happens.
Yeah.
What I did find really, really interesting, I sent you some screenshots about
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
was how it was reported in the
God.
news
By male reporters,
by male
which,
reporters. And I just want to, I don't know where I'm going to fit this in to our episode,
yeah.
but I just thought this was so funny, not in a ha-ha way, but it was
Oh my
so
God.
ridiculous. So this is a clip from a newspaper article.
Yeah.
Uda Pipig says all the right things, smiles at the right times, and takes time to credit her rivals while applauding all competitors. And where is it written that anybody is allowed to look so good and fresh after running 26 miles with cramps and diarrhea?
Oh,
And they that one's not too bad because they kind of touch on it.
yeah, yeah.
This one was good. She could be Tinkerbell, Mary Poppins, or Peter Pan with a face that could grace the pages of a fairy tale and $1 million smile to go along with it. Germany's Uda Pippig flew away in the final miles to blow away the competition in a storybook performance yesterday at the 100th running of the Boston Marathon. So they haven't even like touched
Touched
on
on
it.
it. Yeah.
They just like brush it under the carpet. Like
Because it's so vulgar that
it's
you should
vulgar
report
and
on.
taboo. And
Ah,
then this one was my favorite.
yeah.
So, where is it? So there's a section in the Boston Herald, and they emphasize victory over menstruation rather than the competitors, and they label Uda Pippig's body as dysfunctional and
What?
characterizing her difficulties as a meltdown,
Oh my
as
gosh.
opposed to like obviously
Celebrating.
that's just how
Yeah,
it
that
happens.
is what it is.
Like
Yeah.
that is just what it is. Um, this strand of coverage seems to implicitly endorse activity taboos in its tone and in its suggestions that perhaps Pippig should have done the sensible thing and pulled off to the side and not completed the
Oh my
race.
gosh. What is wrong with.
I know. I mean, I think we've come a long way from that too, but I
Yeah.
just thought that it was really interesting that it was commented on as dysfunctional.
When that is something that happens to women all over the globe on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And in fact, that is functional, not dysfunctional, may
Yeah,
we
if it
just
wasn't
say.
happening, then it
Yeah,
would be dysfunctional.
exactly. But the fact that it is happening is dysfunctional in society. And oh gosh. I mean, there's the sports media. There's some stats in a book called Game On by who's written by Sue Anstis,
Okay.
and it was saying that much reference research from women in sport back in 2010 showed that less than 5% of sports coverage in the media included women.
Really?
5%, yeah. And that's in 2010 and
It's
it's
because we've got
still
dysfunctional bodies
yeah,
and
exactly. We can't report on that. Which is just mental that that was only 15 years ago and it's still oh my gosh, 15 years ago.
yeah, that is wild.
Yeah. And I feel like we're better than we were, but I mean if you look at the BBC News sports page, out of how many of the stories on there are touching women's sport, it's reporting on women's sport.
It's limited.
It's limited. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
it is limited. My final question for you, what are you listening to when we're training or in the gym at the moment?
Oh, great question. I am loving Stay, a song by Fisher.
Okay.
I love a bit of Effie and Grab as well. And then what's the song that you were playing in the car the other week?
Itty Bitty
Itty
by
Bitty.
Ashley.
So I was singing that along the canal and I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't be singing this out loud. I was on a run and I was like, this is so great. But yeah, I love like electronic. I love there's a DJ called Hi. She is just amazing. Um, so yeah, I love a lot of like DJ sets kind of thing.
Put me on the aux.
Put me on the aux.
Are you the sort of person that's happy to put your music on speakers or are you a headphones girl?
Oh, depends who's in the room.
Yeah, that's fair.
It does depend who the audience is. I also love like 80s music as well. I
That's actually
love,
what Saskia said last
yeah.
week.
Oh, a bit of Rick Astley. Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I did her Instagram post and we got a bit of Wham on there.
Nice. Oh, you gotta love it. I think for my 30th, I'd like an 80s themed party. You're not allowed in if your hair is not over like 5 centimeters backcombed and your shoulder pads aren't up to your ears.
You can't get through the door because you've got
No.
such big shoulder pads on.
Yeah, just don't physically fit. Oh, what a day.
Well, anyway, it's been really lovely to chat with you and you absolutely bought the stats today.
Oh gosh.
So well done. I really respect the mind map and the notes on all the running stuff. And I hope well, I'll come and watch you do a marathon. I'll
Oh,
bring the
need
body
to sign
glide
up
for
to one.
you.
Yeah, can you be there at mile? Oh God, whatever mile it is,
I'll be
just chief chafe officer.
chief chafe officer.
That'll be your role.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
I can't wait.
You really see me at my worst then.
I
Oh
I
dear.
look forward to it. Well, thank you very much. And
Thanks for having
I would
me.
say I'll see you soon, but you're staying the night tonight, so
Yeah. Lucky you.
I'll see you in the
See
morning.
you in the morning.